It's showtime, folks.
8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis. A final visit to enhance the vision of Hubble into the deepest grandeur of our universe.
That's nice. Yeah, that's all of our episodes. That's every movie we've talked about.
Nice. That's I forgot we did Singing in the Rain.
Yeah,
And The Square.
The Square will that will come out next Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I just got everything edited this past weekend.
Yeah, you're good.
I was so annoyed by so much of our stuff is getting copywritten by like Turkey and places like that.
Really?
I think I just got burnt out for a bit, so I just stopped doing editing for like 3 months.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with defending Turkey.
Yeah, so I mean, technically I stopped doing editing for 6 months because I think our last episode before today came out 6 months ago. So we had our top 5 superhero movies came out today.
I saw that.
Okay, it's good to know that Andrew actually pays attention to our YouTube channel.
I do.
Thank you to our Danish viewer who commented on The Hunt. We do appreciate you too. You said some very nice things about our channel. You gave us a slight little ribbing there while also being very, very kind and compassionate.
I can handle ribbing.
So you're the type of viewer that we love. Appreciate it. I think he got a little scared that we took him seriously when he's like, "You got to be crazy if you think they killed that dog in The Hunt." And he came back and he's like, I didn't mean that you were actually crazy. I'm sorry if you did. Dude, you're wonderful. We appreciate you for watching our videos.
It's less of a craziness that I believe it. It's more of a lack of faith in other people.
Correct.
That's kind of where it's coming from.
So hopefully you can see it. We are sponsored today by Brian K. and the Parkway.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
They should obviously give us free merch, as that is a band. You can find them on Bandcamp, and we're sponsored by Bud Light because obviously they will sponsor anybody at this point in time. So why not us? We're not politically divisive as far as I'm aware.
Not
we
yet.
probably are.
We're about to be.
We're about to be. We actually have an episode dropping in 2 weeks about Christian music from the early 2000s and politics. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I completely forgot we talked about that. And
when was that?
It was. We really didn't talk about the Square that much. Whenever we did the episode on the Square, there's a lot of other things we talked about.
What did we discuss politically? Politically, I guess I can understand because it's in America.
No, we before we even started talking about the movie, we were talking about because I brought up that we were going to go visit. April and I were going to go visit somebody in Washington D.C. that we knew, who is the drummer for Brian K. and the Parkway. Our sponsor for today's episode sent us free merch, and we started talking about April being in a Christian band in the early 2000s. So that was our early 2000s, and then from there we started talking about and you all will have to watch the episode to determine how we got on this subject. We started talking about Rush Limbaugh and politics from there. And I think it was because my mom's car's radio station could only play...
Okay.
We only ever listened to oldies Christian radio or WORD. Or it may not be WRD, but whatever the conservative talk radio station was in Columbia.
Did I bring up the time that my dad got hung up on by Rush Limbaugh?
You did. You did. That is on there. Yes.
I figured then I would.
Okay. Yes. We did discuss that.
I remember that was hilarious. And of course, my dad, which I'm probably just repeating everything I said. I don't remember. my dad, being who my dad is, was very calm, having an actual discussion, which people like Rush wanted to have supposedly. The only thing I remember, I don't have a clue what it was on about because I was like 12. I didn't give a crap.
I would love to talk to your dad and figure out what he actually talked to Rush.
I'm sure he remembers less than what I remember probably. He said something about some policy or whatever was a double-edged sword, yada yada, and he obviously was ignoring all the jabs that I'm sure Rush was giving him, and then all of a sudden he's like, he hung up on me or something like that.
Oh, good times.
This isn't bad.
You like it? So completely NA.
Completely non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like you were saying, it didn't taste good. Like I think it tastes great.
Yeah, it does. And in fact, I kind of don't like it sometimes because it tastes so good. It makes me want a real beer.
Okay.
But a lot of times it does feel that like, oh, I just want the taste of hops and barley and all that kind of stuff. And this is the Athletic, another one of our non-sponsors. Hopefully one day. They aren't going to sponsor me. They'll sponsor you, but not me. But yeah, so Athletic Brewing. They have several different types of beer. This is their hazy IPA, I think is what I got.
Are they local, you said?
No, they're not local.
They're not local?
They're nationwide, I think.
Okay.
Or they may be, because it's actually the drummer from Brian K. and the Parkway. Our sponsor for this episode sent us merch.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
He was the one that actually told me about it. So I know they're at least on the East Coast. So you should be able to find it.
How many people are in that band?
I think permanently 3 people so far, because they have to. Nobody wants to actually be in that band, so they have to actually pay people to be in it when they tour.
So theoretically, we could get 3 more viewers, 3 more subscribers.
Theoretically,
it would make sense if you're going to sponsor a page that you would follow that page.
If they knew they were sponsoring us and I just didn't force it upon them, yes.
I mean, is there really a difference in the end?
No, not at all.
Capitalism reigns supreme.
It is. It does.
Cheers to that.
Thank you for your money, Brian K. and the Parkway.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
And merch.
Yes. Go check out their latest singles on Bandcamp. All right. Killing the Bear came out a few months ago. Great album.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
Highly recommend. All right.
Is that the guy you had, or the band you had me follow on Instagram? You told me to follow somebody on Instagram.
It could be.
That might be them.
It could be, because I mean they have pretty good social, a pretty good social media presence. Like Steven, the drummer, he does a pretty good job with that. Like I do
guess
enjoy.
That probably is. I feel like I see him a lot. I don't know. I always click on him because I'm like, who is this? Why am I following? Like, oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of sad because we were supposed to see them a few weeks ago because they were supposed to be playing in Nashville, but obviously they had to cancel that gig with everything going on.
Post hurricane.
Yeah. So that was kind of sad, but they did a live show, or they did a few live songs on Instagram to try to raise some money for the area.
That's awesome.
And knowing my buddy, knowing Steven, that money actually probably went there. So,
good of them. That's awesome of them.
yeah. No. Steven's the best. That was that Aliens book. That was who gave me the Aliens
okay, yes.
book. Yeah.
Well, then he is good people.
Yes, he is. I think he actually gave me or let me borrow indefinitely. They did the remake to Link's Awakening for the Switch.
Oh, it had the one that had kind of that
like a 3D.
Yeah.
3D, but still top down, still the original, kind of the original version. He let me borrow that kind of indefinitely. Link's Awakening. It was originally on Super Nintendo.
Oh, I'm thinking
Zelda,
of
that was originally. Which was it looks exactly like the new Links they did.
Link's Awakening was the one on the Game Boy. Link to the Past was Super Nintendo.
Okay, I am very sorry. You're absolutely
No,
correct.
no, it's fine. Cause
Link to the Past.
Was that
Yes.
also on the 3DS? I played a.
I'm sure a port of it was, but they did a remaster, kind of an HD cartoonish remaster.
Yes, that was also
On
on
Switch.
That one was also on the 3DS. It was,
Okay.
You kind of like have some kind of mirror or painting tool or something like that to go between worlds. Am I?
You have a mirror to go between worlds. Yes, but that's on the original version. Yes.
Gotcha. Well, and it's done in a more cartoonish way.
Because in the original game, it takes a while because you have to find a separate emblem or something like that. Because when you go to the mirror world, you're kind of like a fawn, and you can't do any damage, and you're killed very easily.
Right.
So you have to like navigate very carefully until you get like a special emblem where you can actually go to the mirror world and do damage.
Gotcha.
I love that game on Super Nintendo. It's one of the best ever.
It was great.
We didn't talk about it in our top 5 non-RPG games because I do consider it an RPG game. I can't help but consider.
There's an argument for and against that.
Yeah.
I could see it. For me, it's not one personally, but I can understand why you've been thinking this.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day actually of that. There's apparently some hack or some whatever in the game where you can beat it in less than 5 minutes.
I've heard about that. I don't.
You're basically just finding a glitch in the walls, and you end up passing Ganon or whoever, and you just go straight to the Triforce.
Yeah,
and it's there.
I have heard about. I think I saw a video on that too. Yeah,
it's
that's
very
an interesting one.
It's very doable. Like it's not. You don't need really skill to do it. You just got to know what to do.
Yeah. So, with all that introduction, we are Hydro Man Ran. I'm Kevin.
I'm Andrew.
And today, we're going to space, bitches. I've been drinking all day, so sorry. So we are going to space. This is Hydro Man Ran Goes to Space.
Here we are.
Here we are. We are going to be talking about 6 movies where there is a series of movies, and at some point in time, they jumped the shark and decided to go to space.
Although arguably it wasn't always jumping the shark.
Well, do you even know what the origins of the jumping of the shark term is?
Yes, I'm not that much younger than you.
Okay, so tell
Happy
me.
days.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
the shark.
All right, we had to check on that for a second there. All right. So, well, jumping the shark just means that you've completely lost scope of what your original intent is, and you're just going off in a different direction. And maybe, I don't know if every movie that we watch, all 6, fall under the scope of jumping the shark. Mm-hmm. But I think most of them do.
I think you can make an argument. Well, let's just. Well, do you want to talk about our overall take on that concept first? Because I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about just as a concept.
It's definitely got to be a series, obviously. I think the more it's got to have a lot of success beforehand, as well. I would argue at least because I feel like at least for Happy Days, since that's where it came from. Obviously, Happy Days was really successful.
Yes, it was a very popular series.
I feel like the Jumping the Shark was kind of the ultimate symbol of, hey, this should have already ended.
That is a very good. I think that's a very, very astute take. Yes, I'll follow you on that.
Kind of like Dexter should have ended after the Trinity Killer. I'll get on that soapbox another day.
All right, that's a whole other episode because I did not watch. I don't think I finished season 1 of Dexter, so I don't know.
You can just watch season 4.
Mm. Okay. All right, we'll do that.
There's not too many things I'm passionate about. That's definitely one of them.
Okay.
Back to space. But yeah, so how do you take the shark?
So yeah, I think you're correct in for the most part for these movies, it's them losing focus of what they meant to be, what they were supposed to be originally. For one in particular, I think it was definitely attempting to chase a trend instead of following what maybe was what they should have done. So I think that's where we're at with these movies is either all but one feels, and I think we'll talk about that one because it's not really a ghost to space movie. With one of them didn't entirely fit maybe the scope of what the 6 we watched. One of them maybe didn't entirely fit, but of the other 5, I think there were definitely I don't know what the hell they were doing, really, to be honest. I know exactly what one was doing. One was chasing a trend. I don't know what the other 4 were doing.
I think as far as jumping the shark goes, our only real difference is that it maybe we're just saying the same thing 2 different ways. But you kind of see it as getting off track.
Yeah. Whereas
I see it as completing the track and not wanting to stop. Which isn't, obviously it's tomato. It's not a...
I could agree with that with
but also I think
definitely one of them with one of the movies 100% agree with that. I don't know if I'd agree with that with all of them. I think some of them just
I don't
think went off on a crazy tangent out of nowhere for no reason and lost focus of what they were supposed to be doing.
I think it also depends though on how we view the series.
I
think certainly for the horror ones, I think you view those series differently than I do.
Yeah.
Not even in terms of enjoying it or not. But I'd say, why don't we just... Which one do you want to start with first?
I don't know.
Do you want to start with... Do you want to save... Which one's the one... I'm curious, which one's the one that you think didn't... You said there was 5 that were just completely off the rail.
Yes.
Which ones? I probably know which one you are talking about. But
so the one that I think maybe doesn't entirely fit the scope, and I think is going to be the most difficult to discuss. Mm-hmm. So maybe let's get that one out of the way.
Okay.
Because I don't know that there's a lot to analyze in it. Mm-hmm. Is Muppets from Space.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like that one's trying to like jump the shark or anything like that. It's obviously following up a Muppets Christmas Carol, which I think is probably one of the most beloved Muppet movies, maybe.
As it should be. I love that movie.
And then, I think you also have Muppets Treasure Island around the time, and then after it you have Muppets Wizard of Oz, mm-hmm. which I don't think is really fondly looked upon.
I never saw that one.
So it's a very awkward time where I think the Muppets are trying to find their place in the 21st century. Mm-hmm. But I will say this: I think it's a cute movie. It's a fine movie.
That one still came out in the 90s, though, didn't it?
It was like 99.
Okay, so it was like right on the edge. Okay.
I think it's a cute movie. It's a fine movie. Nothing to write home to mom or dad about, or I don't really know how to analyze it because it is an entirely a kid's film, and I think it's antithetical. I think it would mock you if you tried to analyze it, because I don't think it's, which I think another one of ours could be in that category, but I think it's still interesting to analyze. This one, because it's from space, it's just Gonzo finding out about his heritage. It's not jumping a shark or anything like that. It's not doing anything awkward.
Right.
What's your take on it?
More or less the same. Like, I can't view it as jumping the shark because, like you said, like there's Treasure Island, there's Christmas Carol. It's all of these movies are just trying to be in different areas for the Muppets to have fun adventure. It's not like, and the success of it is on really whether or not it entertains kids and the parents buy it for the kids.
Yeah.
Whereas Happy Days was about bringing people back every, I don't know, Thursday, Friday, whatever day it was.
And I feel like this one was maybe trying to recapture maybe some of the love from Muppets Take Manhattan and
Yes. The Carol, you said.
And the early 80s Muppet movies.
Yeah.
Because it felt more plot driven like those than redoing a story like The Wizard of Oz, like the Christmas Carol, like Treasure Island. It was trying to do what those movies had done. So it almost is, there's a nostalgia to the early 80s movies that were the Muppets at the same time. So it almost feels like it's not even jumping a shark. It is actually trying to jump the shark and trying to go back to what the movies originally were to some extent. So
I think whenever producers and investors and marketers, people like that, they don't want to find a new magic. They want to try to recreate the old magic every single time. That's why we've past probably like 20-something years now, we've had all these terrible remakes. That's why they're trying to remake the Harry Potter series on HBO.
Oh, they are, aren't they?
They are. They are.
I just watched those movies a few weeks ago.
We did too.
And I didn't even rewatch them. I watched them for the first time because I realized that there was a bunch of jokes and gags that I didn't even get or know.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, well, I guess I need to watch these movies.
Oh, you're talking about when we were all talking about it?
Well, not only that. Like, you see it just in, like, regular other, like, YouTube videos. Like, they'll make a joke, and I'm like, I think this is a Harry Potter reference, but I don't even know.
It's definitely ingrained in the pop culture.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. And so I just rewatched them just thinking of that, and I not rewatched them. I watched them. I rewatched maybe the first three. I think I'd seen the first 3 or 4 before. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I watched those for the first time, which was it was just interesting endeavor just to watch them.
Gotcha.
I can see why kids get into them. I don't have the nostalgia for them the way probably you do. Or
I enjoyed watching them, but like you said, it was more nostalgic for me, which is funny because I actually never read the books. It's just the movie that I
think that's the way it is for a lot of people.
It probably is
because nobody knows how to read.
I mean, let's see. Well, that's a K.
Okay. Brian K and the
K
Parkway. They're a sponsor today.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
Them and Bud Light, hopefully.
Weren't you just complaining about getting copyright stricken?
Didn't I just compliment what?
About getting copyright stricken?
They're not going to copyright strike us. They're just going to be like, hey, cease and desist.
Alright, well, you can do it.
I'll let the lawyers deal with that.
All right. Call my mom's husband.
Please contact us if you want to be our lawyer. We don't have one. Thank you.
We can't pay you, but we might be able to give you some free merch.
Yeah, free merch from Brian K and the Parkway, our unofficial sponsor, officially for this episode.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
Thank you.
See, what happens though if they also sue us?
Oh, they don't have the money.
Neither do we.
We're okay there. Oh, we're fine. Yeah.
But I would say, I mean, it was like I wasn't entertained at all by it, but the movie wasn't for me.
Right.
I imagine if I was like 9 years old when this came out, I probably would have enjoyed it then.
Yeah.
Would have been fun. So on that level alone, I think it succeeds. And again, because of all the random areas they go to, I don't really look at this one as being that out of pocket. Because, I mean, like, kind of cliche, sure, but they don't care about being cliche.
Well, I was trying to think about that too. Like, is it cliched because of everything we've seen now? Or was it cliched at the time? I don't even know about that. Like, that I didn't even really dig in that deep into it.
I feel like after Star Wars, it probably was, though. Like, anything space after Star Wars probably was somewhat cliched.
Yeah, but I don't even feel like this one, like, tried to mimic Star Wars.
It did. I'm not
It
saying
anyways.
it did. I'm just saying, like, I feel like, and granted, I'm just talking. I don't know if this is correct or not, but I feel like Star Wars made space a lot cooler in terms of Hollywood.
So I think that's, and maybe that's the next one we go to talk to. I think for one of the ones we watched, it is a definite and obvious connection to that one. I don't know that it is for this one.
Yeah, no,
and I mean, like, you can
certainly
maybe
not
make the
inspired
argument like, oh, Phantom Menace came out the year before or something like that. But even then, like, it's Muppets from Space, but that's only really dealing with the last 15 minutes. It's like one musical number and then it's over.
yeah,
I mean, it's not even, it's barely about that. It's more about, it's almost more riffing off of Men in Black than anything in a certain way, I think.
now that you say that,
It's not even, it's not riffing off of Star Wars. It's riffing off of Men in Black.
yeah, and I'm not saying it was around Star Wars. I'm just saying that, like, I feel like maybe space is considered cliche post Star Wars.
I think that's valid. I think you could say that to a certain extent. I don't know that that's
Which, granted,
here.
that's probably not entirely fair, because if a show's entire premise is space,
Yeah.
now,
But I think maybe producers were more willing to give something a green light
right.
because of it.
Well, and again, it's all about. I think part of it is. Do you need help?
No,
Okay.
maybe not.
I think part of it is how serious, depending on the context, are they trying to be.
I think that's fair.
I mean, if you're looking at Muppets in Space, like, are they taking it seriously? No. Do they need to? No.
Yeah. I think that should be good now. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was fine. I thought they succeeded exactly what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I honestly thought this might be a good one to show my niece when she's a little bit older. She might enjoy it. I think she's in kindergarten now, so 2 or 3 years, maybe try to show her a few other Muppet movies, introduce her to the characters, and then show her this one. I think she might really enjoy it.
I mean, I only remember what I was like at kindergarten, but I feel like kindergartner would enjoy this now.
True, I don't know how introduced she is to the Muppets.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that would be my own, because it is very character and plot driven for a kids movie.
Surprisingly so.
You do have to know who these characters are. I feel like ahead of time.
It actually is.
Yeah.
They do take that seriously. They take the core of the entire product seriously.
Yeah, but it is still just a kids movie at the end of the day.
You gotta understand that a pig and a frog got married.
I don't know. Did they get married in this movie?
Not in this movie, and
I don't think they did.
I mean, in like the overall lore of Muppets.
All right.
I feel like when it comes down to it, that's important.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Gee, I don't really have much to say else on it. I feel like we've talked a lot more than I thought we would.
I
on
don't,
this
and
movie.
honestly, I'm worried that with the exception of a couple, I don't have a lot to say about any of them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
See, I have a lot of notes on them, so I have things that we can say.
that's
at
fine.
least.
I mean, and I can, when something pops in my mind, I can always take it for a ride.
So where do we go from Muppets? What do you think is the next? Is it the next logical jump?
I feel like the next, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the next logical jump is Abbott and Costello.
Okay. All right. So Abbott and Costello go to Mars.
Which I'll go ahead and spoil. Like, this one was the one I enjoyed the most.
Really?
I really liked it.
Okay.
I've always loved them. I've loved their humor.
No, I do too. Like, and because of what our podcast does, I'll go ahead and say, like, watching this, I felt like I wish I was watching it with Papa. Yeah. Like, this feels like the one that, like, he would really. Well, there's another one I think he would enjoy too, but I feel like I watched a lot of Abbott and Costello and Laurel and Hardy with Papa. So there's a
Yeah.
there for me there's a definite history there.
For me, it would be my dad, but the same thing. Like,
Right.
my dad, of course, introduced me to Who's On First,
Oh yeah, yeah.
as any good dad should.
He should. And Papa, I can't remember. I don't know what movies it was. I think Papa knew that I liked the monster movies, the horror movies.
Yeah.
So we used to watch, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman, and those type of movies. Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. So I did watch a lot of those growing up. It was Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, and then there's a musician named Victor Borge, who I used to watch as a kid a lot with Papa. So yeah, it was those three guys were kind of surprisingly fundamental in my slapstick upbringing.
I'm wondering because they had early on in the movie, they had one of my favorite styles of jokes where Abbott was playing. He was playing with like that the rocket or whatever he was doing. He was spinning over his head, and there was all the kids around him were like, "How does the rocket take off?" And what did he say? He said you pull a string or something like that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the kids become like I can't even say what they said, but they started like rattling off like the very specific scientific nature of the rocket. I always love those jokes. I've always loved whenever someone dumb just starts sounding like a genius all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I think that was I think that was something that Papa loved about it. It's because Papa, I think we said this before, Papa loved to laugh at idiots. So I think that's why he liked Abbott and Costello, because
That's probably why he was so good in the Army.
Costello was a that's a nice dig.
You're gonna
Support the troops, guys.
I'm a veteran. I can say that. You're gonna come across dumb people in the Army. If you don't come across dumb people in the Army, you weren't in the Army.
But,
also, some brilliant people in the Army. Really, you're gonna come across both.
okay. So it's just like real life. That's interesting.
Well, I mean,
Or is it more extremes?
no. Actually, I think the Army and probably the military in general is just taking society and just making it a little smaller. Just
Okay.
putting in uniforms.
Okay.
I mean, the military. Time to get political here. The military is probably one of the biggest positive test cases for the good that diversity can do.
I have heard that about or read that about that in history books. I remember even back in the day about how
Somewhat in history too, but like I'm
about the U.S. military being
oh yeah.
being diversified before anybody else was, and what it did, and how members of the U.S. military. And I think that growing up in the South, like I never really heard racist things when I grew up because Papa was in the military, so my family grew up in a diverse community, and it was never really even a question or an issue. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with people who have fear of a different skin color or a different race, and then they grow up and then they start living with them and say, oh, they're just like us.
Yeah.
They have the exact same as us. That's the easiest way to stamp that out.
Oh yeah.
And of course, if you've grown up racist all your life, and then all of a sudden the guy who's black saves your life in battle, suddenly he's not that bad. Suddenly he ain't that. Suddenly your grandpa may have been wrong about a thing or two.
So all of that to say,
Abbott
Abbott and
Costello's
Costello goes
great.
to space is an utter, or Abbott and Costello goes to Mars is an utter bullshit title. Let's get that out of the way.
I mean, yeah.
That was, they never go to Mars. They go to Venus. They try to go to Mars, and they don't accomplish that. And so then they go to
The Christopher Columbus of the film industry.
so they go to Venus. They think they're on Mars when they go to Venus, and then they just establish what would someone say that they establish the patriarchy.
Essentially.
basically.
Yeah.
on
That was the
Venus.
patriarchy. That's
And,
actually
and all the
perfect-
women who for generations and generations have been happy without the patriarchy are so much more happy all of a sudden because the patriarchy is instituted.
Well, they didn't
basically
know.
the women are really horny. I mean, that's what's happening without them saying it. It's very obvious. The women on Venus are super horny.
It is funny how they were willing to. I mean, granted, like I'd never expected Abbott and Costello to address that.
No.
But it was funny. Well, I mean, the patriarchy makes everything better.
It does. It does.
At least on Venus.
Sure. Yes. Not on Earth. Let's clear that up.
Since we're apparently
Yeah.
hardcore left wingers today.
Or right wingers if we're pro patriarchy.
Do they cancel out, or are we just hated by both sides now?
I hate it by both sides. I think.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bud Light, Brian Cannon Parkway.
Yeah.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
Actually, they're both liberal, so it doesn't work out. A band from Washington D.C. not being liberal.
Is there a right wing beer?
I'm sure there's right wing coffee, so why wouldn't there be right wing beer? Whatever Kid Rock is drinking, I'm sure is what you're supposed to be drinking.
I think it's gasoline now.
Oh, it's just gasoline.
I think he's just straight up drinking gasoline.
Okay, so all you MAGA supporters,
Did you
enjoy your gas. I don't know.
did you watch his MAGA song?
No.
Okay, after this, we're watching his MAGA song.
Oh God.
You're gonna watch this song.
Okay.
Killing the bear was the best we could do.
I don't want to watch anything to do with Kid Rock. I haven't.
This may be-
nothing to do with Kid Rock since Ball with the Ball. That is the only thing from Kid Rock that I have any interest in at all.
I Want to Be a Cowboy. That was a good one.
No, it was
You didn't
not.
like that one?
No,
Oh, okay.
I will argue that's a bad song too.
Bob would have. Well, again, okay. So when we say good, I'm not saying it's like, it's not like up there with like Aerosmith and like all the other greats.
Oh, well, see, there you lost me because you even said Aerosmith is great. So
Okay,
you
well,
lost me there.
You know what? I am so happy that I'm making this your worst birthday ever. You deserve that. Happy birthday to nobody.
Sure, Kid Rock is no Aerosmith. Oh yeah, all right.
In fairness, he's not.
Aerosmith isn't even Aerosmith. Aerosmith had studio musicians come in and play all their songs. They aren't even Aerosmith.
I never said they were like the most talented people. I said it sounded good.
Sounds alright. Some of their early stuff, pumping before.
Okay, well, what are you comparing it to? Because like,
Everything else.
I just think a lot of things.
Everything else that was out is so much better than it. Listen to Genesis, listen to Led Zeppelin, listen to AC/DC during that period. Listen to
I
Black
enjoy that too.
Sabbath. Listen to Pink Floyd even because
I
even
enjoy Pink Floyd too.
people hated Pink Floyd during this period, but even Pink Floyd during the Aerosmith period, so much better than Aerosmith. There's so much better music.
I like all those bands.
Okay, good.
I can
Good.
just enjoy all the stuff.
Then say them next time instead of Aerosmith.
It was the
goddammit.
first band that came to my mind.
Oh my god! And that's the end of the podcast, folks. Okay.
And many more.
And many more. So, anyways, Abbott and Costello go to Mars is bullshit because they don't go to Mars, they go to Venus. Introduce the patriarchy. Everybody's happy about it. But apart from all the things that all of the extremely woke liberals would get super offended by, it's a very funny, humorous film.
Yes.
Especially when you
Hilarious.
take it into consideration for the time and period.
If you don't like dry slapstick humor, you're gonna hate it. Obviously. If you-
Obviously.
my wife would hate this movie.
Yeah, my wife would too.
So much.
And not even because of the patriarchy wins
No.
kind of pseudo message. It's not even, I don't even want to call it messaging. It's just
I don't
It's
think,
just
I don't
the way
think
the
there's any
plot-
message. I think
no,
it's just
not. Yeah, you're right on
it's
that.
just how Abbott and Costello's reality works.
Yeah.
That's it.
And even on this one, even on the other ones, like for some reason, like women always seem to be drawn to Costello.
No, because it helps.
A short fat man who gets scared at the drop of a hat.
Well, because that sets up for more funny gags.
It does. It does.
Punchlines,
It
all that
does.
stuff.
And so I think I don't even know that. Yeah, I don't even think it's a message. I don't even think it's purposeful. I think it's just how do we make the next joke happen is how the plot's written more than anything else.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were, I think, brilliant in terms of humor for their time, but they weren't writing like masterpieces script.
No, they aren't writing like how society should be.
This was not the Aerosmith of the film industry.
Or the Kid Rock.
Or the Kid Rock.
Yes.
Somewhere in the middle. Maybe the AC/DC of their time.
Maybe. We
Maybe.
can give them that. Bon Scott era AC. All right. Yeah, and what I find most interesting, and I think the most so one, this movie came out before the whole jump the shark idea.
Oh yeah. Like,
And not to say that it
30
wasn't
years
being in,
beforehand.
yeah,
At least?
a good bit of time before, maybe 20, but still, yeah.
Maybe.
Um,
But yeah, because Happy Days was what, the 60s?
well, it takes place in the 60s and 50s, but it
In the
happened in the 70s and 80s is when it's
Okay.
on TV. So I think the most interesting thing about this is the idea of licensing. Because when we decided to watch this movie, this is a very difficult movie to find to watch.
It was. I'm glad you had it.
Well, I didn't have it. I found it on archive.org, which has recently gotten sued. That was why I contacted you a few weeks ago to make sure you had watched it, because I hadn't deleted it off my hard drive yet. Because if I had deleted it, I don't know that it would still be in archive.org.
It would.
So, and archive.org is a really great place for, some would say pirating, but it's for things that just aren't commercially viable. Like somebody holds the rights and somebody is, and nobody's letting us, the public, watch it. So something like this, like there's one DVD collection that we could have spent like $40 on, I think,
Right.
to buy and watch it.
Well, I don't understand the whole idea. First off, one thing I found out that was very interesting. You remember like the early 2000s, all those, you wouldn't download a car. You remember that?
Yeah.
Those apparently drove pirating up because people at the time, like the time the internet was still fairly new, people didn't know you could download music and videos and stuff like that on the internet. So those were completely backfired.
I believe it.
That's just a fun fact. I mean,
Well, that was also the time that Lars Ulrich became a fucking tool, and everybody started to hate him. So everybody's like, I need to download some Metallica albums just to piss off Lars Ulrich. So,
but what I don't understand is, I don't know if it's ignorance or greed or what it is, but it feels like so many of these people these companies, the people who have the rights, don't realize if you just made this stuff available for purchase, it would be purchased.
right, or you don't even have to make it available for purchase. Give Tubi cheap rights to stream it.
You'd make so much money.
Tubi, I mean, hey, ask for $100 a month from Tubi or something like that. There you go. There's a free $100 in your pocket every month.
Yeah.
Tubi's probably not going to get much more than that in terms of advertising revenue.
No.
But Tubi or some one of those free services like that, they will stream this sort of stuff.
Just to have their content.
Right, and this is the type of stuff that a lot of people that use those services want to watch, because it isn't young millennials, I don't think, watching Tubi and things like that. It is older people who would be happy to find some kind of nostalgia like this, because there are definitely senior citizens on those sites, and this would be some nice nostalgia for them.
Yeah.
Instead of the pornography with all the porn cut out of it. There are those movies on there. They're very funny to watch.
like actual pornography.
Well, they're the softcore porns from Showtime, but they've cut everything out of them, even the softcore out of them. So what was like an hour and a half movie with softcore pornography is now like 45-minute long movie.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the point? People hoping they'll see boobs, and at least they watch one or two TV commercials. Yeah, that's the hope. Basically, they know, hey, there's going to be some 18-year-old kid who can't find porn anywhere else because his parents have shut down his phone, so he can watch a rated R movie on Tubi though.
No, that's just
so in hopes of seeing a boob. So
quite a world we live in.
It is.
I'm so glad that capitalism reigns supreme.
It is. Yeah. I just hey, 18-year-old kids, man.
They are the economy.
They are, man. Especially, I mean, hey, who else is paying for OnlyFans? It's them and lonely, like, 50-year-old divorcees.
And I think
Who
a
else?
lot of Andrew Tate fans too.
You think Andrew Tate fans?
Oh yeah.
Well, so
'Cause there's all
something
those-
recently I saw was like Andrew Tate is actually against pornography now,
Andrew-
even though he made all of his money off of pornography.
I think in reality, Andrew Tate. Wait, are you saying he was in pornography?
No. He made all of his money. That was all the allegations brought against him. Is he kidnapped women and forced them to do OnlyFans pages, and that's how he made most of his money.
I think it's less. Granted, I don't listen to him at all. Like, not saying you do, but not even in an ironic way. Like, he just.
Oh, I don't listen to him in an ironic way. I just hear
Yeah.
things reach the boundaries. It's because
Yeah.
he can't even be on YouTube anymore. So it's not like it's kind of like occasionally hear about Steven Crowder. Like,
Right.
like he's not someone that can be on YouTube anymore. You just, oh, yeah, that guy still exists.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
when
is he
you
still beating his wife?
when
Huh,
you
what's going on there?
treat your pregnant wife like crap on camera, yeah, it's not going to go well for your career. And then you basically burn a bridge with one of the biggest right-wing news outlets. It's like, what did you
The dumbest thing I've ever. Oh my!
what did you think was going to happen?
Oh my gosh! I don't know what the hell kind of tactic that was.
Well, it's like you
Wow.
made Ben Shapiro look calm and rational. Like, you just fell all around. But I think
He was playing like 5D chess, which does not exist.
no.
I think that's what he thought he was doing somehow.
problem is he was playing it with himself.
Oh, he's playing checkers, and he thought he was playing 5D chess. Yeah,
But what
that was the dumbest thing.
I think Tate is trying to have because he has this kind of alpha male academy style way of teaching young men, and I think for him saying
The
that
real world. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for him saying like don't watch pornography, I think for him is saying here's how you control yourself as a man.
Okay.
But of course he also
No.
is a businessman and has no respect for women.
No.
It's very weird to me, the kind of person who would
Well,
say
he's found himself ingratiated in right wing politics.
yeah,
He's found himself in the same spot that
not even
like
by
the
choice.
intellectual dark web.
Yeah.
Like those guys. Like they aren't even right wing people, but a lot of them
aren't.
They've so lost. They're so lost that they've just like. Okay, they've bought that what they're doing is a grift now, so they're just like, okay, we're right wing, so we have to do the right wing thing now.
Well, and
And I think that's what Andrew Tate has done, because I've even seen my stepdad, conservative preacher, share Andrew Tate quotes.
well,
But
and
I don't think he knows.
I was gonna say he probably doesn't know.
I
truly who
do
Tate
not
is.
think he knows who he is, because I think he'd be disgusted by who he truly
Knowing
is.
what I know of him, I think he would
100%.
despise Andrew Tate. If
Yes,
he actually
100%.
knew. He probably what happened was he saw this quote from this guy. He's like, "Oh, I like that." That's it.
Yes.
That's probably where it stopped. Which for most people, that's how it is.
Oh, 100%. But I think that's how Andrew Tate wins ground.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, and like the problem is like the same thing with like those.
But the same thing happens with left wing stuff too.
It does. The problem with like those intellectual dark web guys is like they started it out because they wanted to talk about overly PC stuff on the left. Fair enough. There were fair complaints there. There
Sure.
were some correct stuff said. The problem is they just kept saying the same things again and again. And like, there'd be episodes on everyone's podcast again and again. It's like, okay, we get it, but there's a lot of other stuff going on in the world. Do you have ideas about that too, or are we just going to talk about the same 10 college kids who called you a jackass? Like,
Man.
I don't care anymore.
And that's really, I think, what Abbott and Costello are saying. And Abbott and Costello Goes to Mars.
It's deep writing.
Yes, it is.
Deep writing.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to go back. We'll have to rewind that and edit.
The fact that they could so brilliantly predict people like Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin and Andrew Tate before their parents were even born, I imagine.
Yeah. No, their parents were already born.
Really?
Yeah.
When did this come out?
Like, in the early 50s?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. Like, your parent wasn't born. I think my parent was probably born whenever this movie came out.
The way you said parent as like a singular.
Well, you know, I mean, our moms raised us. Like, our moms are the only one. We grew up in conservative households. Dad's out. My dad's in the Navy. Your dad's at Blockbuster. They're out. They aren't in the picture.
And Wings and Ale.
Okay.
Thank you. And Pepsi. And Apple for a little bit.
Just for a little bit. Not enough to get any real stocks.
No, you got a few.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's maintained that.
Hey, John, hit me up. How you doing?
Hey, Dad.
You wanna
I'm
sponsor the podcast?
I'm your only son.
We've both and the podcast have given you good reviews on Google. How about that, huh?
Hydro Van Rant, sponsored by Bud Light, Brian and the K Parkway, and my dad.
Brian K in the Parkway.
Brian.
You're going. If we ever actually get really sponsored, we're gonna have to work on that beforehand.
Are you sure this is non-alcoholic?
I am, but I've been drinking all day long, so it doesn't matter for me.
I meant for me because of my mistake, but yeah, that's true too.
No, are you good?
No,
Need another one?
I'm fine. No, I'm good right now. I'm fine.
Okay. Let's see if these are twist-offs.
They're probably not now.
No, they're not now.
No, I mean,
Nope,
now
they're
that you
not.
said that, and now that you're doing it on camera.
Do you know how to do the thing with the lighter?
Not confidently, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay, do it. Okay, do it on camera.
Of course.
Okay.
Let's see, what is
I think you're doing it wrong.
Okay, well, see, there you go.
All right.
Well, it can't be this side.
Yeah.
With the switch?
I don't know.
Why?
I've only seen people do it.
Then why are you saying I'm doing it wrong?
Because it looks like it.
Yeah, same to you.
No, they don't like what we were saying about Andrew Tate. All right, Andrew Tate's a good guy.
Fine, go watch your porn, or don't. I don't care. It's not my call. You shouldn't, but it's your business. Do your thing. Nope.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. What if I just do like this?
That's like wood, man. That's not.
Oh, I thought it was concrete. I thought it was a cinder
No,
block.
that's concrete.
No, it's not happening.
Okay, it's not happening.
That's all right.
All right. Okay, so that was Abbott and Costello meet or Abbott and Costello Go to Mars. I don't know if we have anything else to say. I'm going to go grab a bottle opener if you don't have anything else to say.
No. I mean, watch all of Abbott and Costello's stuff because they're wonderful.
Or don't.
No, do it.
No, do. I think, yeah. There's definitely.
If you're gonna watch, if you've got time for Andrew Tate, you've got time for Abbott and Costello.
100%. I think that's fair enough. Abbott and Costello do have some brilliant things. I don't know that I would say this is necessarily brilliant. I wouldn't say this is a good introductory point. I think their skits are a good introductory point. I think for
yeah, for sure.
For a modern audience, I think maybe some of the ones where they meet the Universal monsters might be a little bit more fun.
You need to start with like their most popular, most famous stuff first, like the skits first, before you get into the movies.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But no, I thought it was okay. I think it obviously difficult.
Yeah,
it's difficult to analyze in a modern lens because there's just.
I'll say this.
Let's just say the election is in 4 days. 3 days.
Because it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it is Tuesday. So the election is just in a few days. It's really hard to view this without a modern political lens. Like, I don't know. It is for me. It's
Is it really?
it's difficult because of the, and I'm putting quotes in here, the patriarchy type quotes towards the comments towards the end of the movie. It's very hard not to throw this movie into a political leaning and try to unpack it that way.
I gotcha. I guess
I don't think that's fair because of the time and place.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess for me, the way my mind goes is I seemingly just automatically watch it in that context, knowing, okay, this is 1950 whatever. And so for me, it's like, it was actually quite a joy watching, because it's like, okay, I don't know what the politics were then, but it's like I could watch it and be like, oh, this is a completely unpolitical thing.
Well, it was that black people were bad. I mean, you got that from the film because there's not a single black person. That's what the politics of the time were.
Well, it's less that they. Okay. I don't think it's so much that they were bad.
That's what, I mean.
I think it was
that was the
I think it was that
messaging,
you
right?
would go out of business if you hired them. Very wrong.
That echoed.
Okay, well, thanks for ruining Abbott Costello for me.
I'm so glad that echoed. You just let my entire neighborhood know that you thought racism was wrong. I appreciate that.
They need to know. They need to know, because you've got
there are some black people in the neighborhood, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'll say it again. I don't even need to fact check that. It's wrong.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna ask Siri.
Can we ask Siri?
I'm a little afraid to ask Siri on camera.
Okay, all right. We'll ask her later.
We'll do it off camera.
Yeah.
I'm actually genuinely afraid of what she'll say. She might say some out of pocket crap. They're trying so hard to convince people that they're not woke or whatever.
What, Apple?
Yeah, you know, the massive multi-billion-dollar corporation that has
the child labor from China company is worried that people think they're woke. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny what is woke anymore, but okay. It doesn't mean anything.
Which is the... Did you ever read what Ron DeSantis said? Because he had to go to court because he was... his campaign did, because of something of them trying to stop certain stuff in schools because of wokeness. And his team had to define what being woke meant. And I'm paraphrasing it slightly, but basically what they said was, wokeness is observing or believing there are systemic injustices in society and wanting to correct them. And when I heard that, I was like, it's fine if you don't believe those injustices exist, but if you see someone who does believe they exist and they don't want to fix them, they're bad people.
Wow, yeah.
It's like, if you believe it, you can disagree with them all you want to, but they can't be wrong for wanting to stop a bad thing in their mind.
Yeah, but even it's a systemic thing, like, because they say just having like a gay person on a television show is woke, but that's not anything systemic. You're not saying anything systemically is wrong with this system by having gay people in a show.
Well, no.
So it completely negates. I mean, that's just interesting because it completely negates the definition that most people use for woke. And it's coming from Ron DeSantis.
Well, what they're saying is
his platform shoes.
They're talking about how, like, a lot of things that'll be discussed amongst those crowds is like systemic racism, things like that, and just like systemic injustices, but also individual ones. But
yeah,
essentially, what it's saying is they think being woke is seeing people being treated, like believing someone's being treated unfairly and wanting to stop that. And I'm like, you can disagree, you can think that it's an equal playing field, but you can't argue that someone thinking otherwise and wanting to fix that the wanting to fix that is bad.
Yeah, that's a shocking.
On the contrary, if there was a person who truly believed everything that like these left-wing progressive crowds thought, but didn't want to fix it, that would be a monster.
Yeah.
That would be a terrible human being.
Wow.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
I believe.
And I'm only paraphrasing it a little bit because I can't remember the exact quote. I saw it on. It was sad. But again, that's what they had to say when they actually had to go make a legitimate case in front of a judge, as opposed to just saying whatever you want to at a rally.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to go find a bottle opener so we can
Get it or no?
No.
Okay.
Just keep it going. Just don't say anything that you would get you canceled.
Well, it's just me now.
There's your stuff. Easy.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you. That's awesome. It's gonna be a fun time. Yeah, the only thing I really remember about Metal Gear Solid 2 was there's the final boss, and I don't remember him, but he has some kind of I think it's kind of like a Dr. Octopus style suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's points where he'll grab you and he starts choking you, and you got to like tap to get out of it. And my friends were playing it, and they would get out of it at like with like only a little bit of health left, so they just ended up getting killed. So they said that I could try, and I guess I blew their minds. Like I got out of it so fast, 'cause I was like just real quick with my fingers with that. And so
it's having that tiny penis. You're just really good at doing
it. Works. It works.
Yeah.
Man. It works so well. But they so they would get to that point. They pause it real quick, hand it to me. I do that real quick, pause it, hand it back to them. And we used to do that like 3 or 4 times. We beat them like first try. And they were mind blowing, and I'm just like, cool, I guess.
Okay. All right. Let's throw a little bit more wood on there. I don't know that we need it.
I threw a couple on, but yeah, we can get more.
Oh, okay. I got some pine offcuts right here.
Yeah, that's like I say for non-alcoholic, this is quite good. And granted, I don't know that I've had non-alcoholic. I really don't drink much at all anymore.
Yeah. We know the trouble you got.
Oh yeah, I got a real talking to that one time. Well, more to mean to say, like I probably had like an actual drink, like the beer we had today, like probably the first one I've had in about a month.
Oh really?
I just don't want to anymore.
That's the difference between your waist size and mine, probably. So yeah, makes sense.
That's a fact.
This is
I'm going off the rails today.
Seventh or eighth beer so far today. So
I'm glad I drove.
I'm glad you did too.
Cheers to America.
Yeah, we'll cut that part out.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay,
So we've talked Muppets. We've talked Abbott.
Yeah. So now, let's jump into the horror.
Do you want to jump into the horror? Or do you want to? We've only got one non-horror left.
Yeah, I know. That's why we should jump into the horror, so we can save that one for
Okay.
a little palate cleanser later on.
Fair.
So you know what? Let's go into Hellraiser first, because I know that one's going to be a very interesting conversation, because it's something a conversation we had offline. So we're talking Hellraiser Bloodlines, Hellraiser 4, 1996, 97 or something like that.
When did the first one come out? Like 1991?
88, 89 or something like that.
Okay.
It was late 80s was when the first one came out. And then they started producing them. 2 is kind of beloved by the fans. It's a pretty good one. 3 is kind of half and half by fans, and then 4 is kind of where it falls off a cliff. And after that, it's very much diminishing returns in terms of most fans don't really like them.
Isn't that pretty much the nature of every long-term horror franchise? Seemingly so.
Surprisingly not, because I would argue that the best Friday the 13th movie is actually 4, and I know people that argue that it's 6.
I don't mean necessarily like that particular number, but like the diminishing returns. But
well, I guess
not like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I mean, and even in non-horror franchise that I think we're going to be talking about in a bit. I think it can even be the case for that. If it doesn't reinvent itself and revitalize itself, yes. 100%. 100%. I think that can be the case.
Because I remember growing up, I loved the Halloween franchise.
Right.
And I loved the fifth one, which is a blasphemous crime.
Yes, it is.
Well, and I was young, and and part of it was it was like a fun tradition, because around late October, AMC just kept playing them again and again. And me, Mom, and Marshall, and we would just sit there and we watch them, and that was fun.
Right.
I enjoyed it, and that was all I knew. And then I went back and rewatched it, and I was like, oh wow, this is really bad. I didn't realize how bad it was.
Well, 5, if I'm not mistaken, 5 is an interesting one because I'm not even sure you can find the original cut of 5 anymore.
Oh, really?
So it's just the producer's cut, and I might be wrong. It may have been the 6th entry that you can only do the find the producer's cut on.
6 was Paul Rudd, right?
Okay, then it might be 6. It might not be 5.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's the one. Paul Rudd is the one that you can only really find anymore. Like online, you can only really find the producer's cut anymore. I think they produced some DVDs years ago, but I think if you're looking at streaming, I don't think you can find the original cut of 6. Yeah. And it might be the original cut of 5 too. I can't remember.
6 is the one where I believe in the end.
Do not ask me. I do not remember these.
No, I remember this because it's like a famous scene. That they're all at the gate, and Dr. Loomis is like, "I have some unfinished business." And I think he was dead when this.
He was.
When
Yes.
And then it goes, and you see the mask and the knife. I think a knife on the ground,
and you hear him screaming,
and his blood curdling scream.
Yeah.
Which he did that role so well.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah.
He made that role his own.
Nah, that was.
I'm not much of a horror fan, obviously, but he deserves respect for that.
No,
role.
I rewatched for I don't know what. I'm not a big fan of the horror of the Halloween franchise, but that initial movie I love. The first Halloween movie.
Oh, the original one was great.
So I just watched that on Halloween night, just two days ago.
You could argue that everything after that ruined the original because in the original, I mean, I wouldn't say so, but the argument that could be that in the original he was just this faceless, unknown monster.
But see, they do that, but they pick that back up in the recent trilogy. They kind of ignored everything, and
they do, but it's kind of too late because everyone knows.
Right, but at the same time, them harping on it is almost comedic. The way they harp on evil dies tonight and all that kind of crap.
That one. You're talking about the second of the 3 that came out.
Right, I do kind of like the first one. I don't dislike that first one that came out. I think that one was okay.
It was fine.
Yeah, for a horror movie, whatever, it was fine.
Given where the bar probably was at that time for horror movie remakes.
It had some good kills. It had some good gore. That's really what I'm wanting a slasher film, which is funny because the original Halloween movie doesn't really have creative or interesting kills. No. It doesn't have any gore at all, but and I think it's a perfect movie.
I think that's probably the reason I actually really enjoyed it because there was no gore.
Yeah. Okay, but we are talking about an entirely different franchise.
That's
Hellraiser Bloodlines. So, do you know anything about the director Alan Smithee?
No.
Who directed this film?
No. How many did he direct? Any of the other ones?
No. Alan Smithee is a name that the Directors Guild allows directors to take whenever they want to disassociate themselves with a project.
Interesting.
So, the director of Halloween Bloodlines is Alan Smithee.
Hellraiser Bloodlines.
Sorry. Ooh, a little bit too much to drink, and we can't keep the conversation straight. Okay. Hellraiser Bloodlines, the director is Alan Smithee. We
Gotcha.
know who the actual director was. There is what's called there's an edit online where somebody is trying to cobble together what the film might have actually been based on the script.
Mm-hmm.
And really, like, none of, like, the Ghost of Space stuff is in there. All of that's kind of tacked on. It's all basically the history of the lament configuration. So that
cube thing?
The cube is called the lament configuration. So the movie does delve into that, but then the start of the movie is you have an invasion of a spaceship, and what's going on? You have like space marines invading a spaceship,
Right.
and then you have this backstory, this history. And then halfway through the movie, all of a sudden, you get to see that original scene of the spacemen all over again, coming in. Because they're trying to pad out the timeline to get to 90 minutes, because this was a theatrical release. This is the last theatrical release for the Hellraiser series.
I'm guessing they're playing it off as like you're now seeing it in some kind of context or something.
No context.
They just do it again?
No, yeah, that would be artistic and interesting. They completely show the same scenes of the Marines invading the spaceship all over again. Your context is not required to understand those scenes at all. And just to be clear, explain to everyone why I'm telling you this.
Yes, I did not watch Hellraiser 4
Bloodlines, yes.
And frankly, because I just honestly didn't feel comfortable watching it.
Which honestly, I don't know. If you watch the other ones, I think we watched worse films. I think for the subject matter you're concerned about, I think this one is very tame and mild.
You mean compared to other Hellraisers?
Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't know, but I can take
before it. You still have Pinhead.
Sure.
Or the Hell Priest, whichever one you want to call him. And he gets a little female sidekick in this movie. So there is a demon that is conjured in the past by the people who originate the lament configuration. But it's an interesting movie. It's the first Hellraiser movie that I ever actually watched.
Really? Okay.
So I watched it after this first came out on VHS. Me and my buddies, on Friday nights, we would go get all of our cash together and go to the one dude's house whose parents didn't care what we watched. We would go up into the spare room and rent a bunch of movies. This is where we saw In the Mouth of Madness, which we've covered. There's Lord of Illusions, another Clive Barker movie. That was one we watched. We just watched whatever we wanted to watch. And this was the one, interestingly enough, we were watching, and the scene early on is kind of this destitute prostitute comes into the rich man's manor, and he's like this magician, and he tricks her, and then she gets hung up, skinned. So her entire sinew, muscles, bones, everything gets taken out. Just her skin's there. And he draws a configuration on the floor and summons a demon into her skin. And then he can control the demon because he summoned it. And so there's like a scene where the guy that helped him out, the actor Adam Scott, I think is the actor's name. He was on like Parks and Rec, I think is where he got big.
Which one was he on Parks and Rec?
He was he was one of the fellow guys. He was the annoying brother in Step Brothers, the one that was married to Catherine Hahn.
Oh,
and
yes.
they did the singing in the car.
Yeah.
This was one of his earliest roles. So like Paul Rudd was in Halloween. This is one of his earliest roles.
Oh, wow.
And he's the magician's helper.
That's hilarious.
And so But I do remember there's one scene where he's having sex with the demon now in the female skin or whatever, and so you get some side boob while they're having sex. Other things are happening in another room, as the man who's built the cube realizes what he's done and he's trying to stop it. And that was when my buddy's dad decided to check on us. Was when that was happening. So that was as far as I got the first time watching.
So he still cares somewhat while y'all were watching.
He did still care somewhat, yeah.
How about that?
It wasn't the demons getting, it was the side boob. Yeah, it was the sex being performed on screen.
Did y'all have to pick a new movie, or was that?
Yeah, well, we always would rent like multiple movies, so we just put in a different movie, whatever. It wasn't big. It was probably like we probably had like In the Mouth of Madness that night too when we watched that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. So that's kind of my history of this movie. So I do have a dear spot in it because I watched it so young. And I do kind of love it. I love what could have been, which is a really interesting history on the lament configuration and the cubes. Because as you know, I have the Hell Priest NECA figure in my office. I do really enjoy these movies. I even like the remake that happened just a few years ago.
I didn't even know they did that.
It was like a straight to Hulu remake.
Ah, okay.
It was really good. Like the lead actress was like this trans actor and playing the Hell Priest. Did a wonderful job. Like as a female Hell Priestess as Pinhead. It was really, really good. Really interesting movie. I thought it was really well done. So I'm a fan of the series. There's even ones later on that I do enjoy, that I see. It's really funny when you start watching the straight to video Hellraiser movies. You can see, okay, this is a script this is a spec script somebody wrote, and then they were like, okay, but how do we actually make money out of this script? Okay, let's throw the Hell Priest into the third act and call it a Hellraiser movie. And so it has like nothing almost to do at all with Hellraiser, but they just throw it in. And so I find a lot of them interesting when you look at them in that way. I find the Hell Priest Pinhead interesting in terms of a figure who a lot of times is vilified, but honestly he's just kind of a guy doing his job also. He's just a demon doing his job. Like,
right.
He's got a job to perform, and his job is to torture souls. So just don't get in his way, because he's got it. Like, I'm in hell. Like, my job is to torture souls. What else do you expect from me? Like, just don't get in my way. Don't bother me doing my job. Everything will be all right.
He's the Galactus of horror movies.
He is 100%. Yeah.
Shout out to the M6P.
Shout out to the M6P, who I know love this movie. They don't love this movie at all.
Are they big horror fans?
Darren is.
Darren is, okay.
Who was on our top 5 horror movies.
That's right.
Yeah. So no, Darren and I always go, but we always recommend horror movies back and forth to each other.
Gotcha.
So Darren likes them. But yeah, so the movie is interesting to me because it's obvious that it wasn't supposed to be a ghost to space movie. It was supposed to be a history movie of the lament configuration.
Gotcha.
And some producer saw it and was like, that's boring. You need to make them go to space. And so they had already shot, you can tell they already shot pretty much the history of the movie. And then the director's just like, all right, I'll shoot that, but I don't want my name on this project. Just give me a paycheck. And so you can tell the go to space stuff is so tacked on, so lazy, so uninspired.
And it just so happens that after the history, it's then now it's the future.
Now, well, it's following the. So there's a guy that makes the box, and he's making it for this rich aristocrat. And so it follows. He's a toy maker, and it kind of follows his lineage. And so his descendants become an architect. Gotcha. And so that's kind of the modern time kind of view. And then that descendants becomes a monk And so
Okay.
that's who you're seeing in the future is this monk on a spacecraft, and it's all played by the same actor, so you know it's a descendant.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you get the sense that the past and the present story, they feel connected, they feel gelled and like they work together, and then you get this future space stuff, and it's so tacked on, and that's why the maybe it's an assembly cut, maybe that's what they call it. There's an assembly cut on YouTube where people even like do animatics to kind of draw what the script is calling out to happen.
Gotcha.
It's if you wouldn't like this, if you're a fan of the film, I think it's a far more interesting perspective on the film.
Gotcha.
I haven't completely watched it because it is, somebody did do an animatic of the entire movie. I only watched like part 1 and 2. I didn't watch the entire thing. But it is far more interesting based on the original script. Like,
Gotcha.
I'm not calling it a masterpiece. It's not the best Hellraiser movie, but it is. It is a much, much better movie in that regard.
I remember, I had read at some point, there's what, like 10 of these movies?
Yeah. Yeah, at
Like,
least.
So many of them were just straight to DVD,
Yeah, most of them are.
weird, like, side projects. And all that.
Especially at the point where they stop, where Doug Bradley stops being Pinhead. That's where you just don't watch it all.
Oh, is it a
So there's
noticeable
like
change?
8 where Doug Bradley are, and then there's like 3 where he's not, and those are by far the worst.
Really?
You just, nobody watches those. And then there's kind of the relaunch remake from Hulu from a few years ago. It's a competent, fairly well made film. I would say probably the second best, maybe the third best Hellraiser movie they've ever made.
So again, obviously, for me, my faith was why I didn't watch this. I've seen the second one.
Right.
I saw that. I was very young when I saw that. I remember I don't even know who it was. It was some friend's house, and he basically put it on and fell asleep. Never a cool thing to do, no matter what you put on. But he put it on. I remember even then, I was just like, this. To me, it just didn't feel like something I was okay watching.
That's fair enough.
But even without my faith was by far the biggest factor. Also, there was like you know me, I'm not a fan of gore. A lot of gore.
Yeah.
At least that I remember.
Yeah, I mean, this one's shockingly tame compared to some of the other ones, especially compared to number 3.
3's the worst.
Yeah, well, 1 and 3, really high gore. 2 has a good bit of gore. 4 has a little bit of gore, like not a ton.
If I recall correctly, I think 2 opens with the end of 1.
It does.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I was on.
I don't know why that surprised me.
Yeah.
I guess I just forgot about it.
I know. Glass breaks when it's hot. That was the jump scare, scarier than anything that happened in Hellraiser Bloodlines.
Ooh.
Right there.
Is it even a horror movie? Number 4, is it truly horror?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, I would count it as a horror film.
Just because it has Pinhead doesn't make it horror.
No, but is it a good? Is it a successful horror movie?
That's not what I'm saying.
I don't. It has some horrific scenes.
Does it? Okay.
I think especially in the past, like when the girl gets skinned.
You see that? I guess.
And she gets her skin gets inhabited by a demon. That's pretty good. And then later on, she gets turned into a Cenobite. There's a scene where 2 twin brothers who actually have a extremely woke and modern conversation about whether or not they would have sex with a transvestite for 1996. All right. they get turned into a Cenobite, where they get kind of combined together, and that's kind of a horrific, pretty gross, gory scene.
Only thing
I don't know. It depends on the horror you want, whether or not you think it's successful.
Yeah, and I mean, I know within like the horror genre, there's a lot of different categories of fans who are looking for different things.
Oh, 100%. I mean, are you just some dumb kid wanting a Blumhouse or a Blumhouse, PG-13 movie that has no scares in it? Because you've never seen a scary movie before, and that's your gig.
Say whatever you want about the movies, but as a producer and a businessman, he's a smart guy.
No, I'm not saying he's not smart. I'm condemning the audience.
That's fair.
I do not condemn the person making money.
That's fair. Most of those movies.
If it's like a house, sure, I'll condemn Trump for building shit property, but but I'm not condemning. I'm going to condemn the public for going to a bad movie.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
He produced
which he does. He has produced some good movies.
He has. What's the movie about the kid who's a drummer and like the
he did Whiplash.
Whiplash. He produced Whiplash.
He produced Whiplash.
Which blew my mind.
He produced Get Out.
Yes, wonderful.
I mean, he's produced like some solid movies. I'm not going to say he hasn't. I'm just saying that every year around January, if you see a Blumhouse production come out, it's going to be a shit movie.
Well, it's gotten to the point to where it's been this way for a while, where it'll be called Blumhouse's, Scary Night or whatever.
No, it's got to be something. It's got to be a stupid game. This is Blumhouse's Truth or Dare.
Blumhouse's 5D chess.
Spin the bottle.
That's gonna happen.
Oh, 100% is.
That's gonna happen.
It is gonna happen. No, it already is.
Wait, what?
There's a trailer out there somewhere for it.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad
I'm just
that
going to edit in like Andrew's like cursing.
I'm so glad that I used Aerosmith to ruin your birthday. Take that.
Dream out, dream out, dream out.
Is it catchy or is it creative? No, but is it good?
I just got annoyed because everybody said that was like the best.
It really is there.
Everybody said that Dream On was like the best rock song next to. It was the second best rock song next to Stairway to Heaven. That always irritated me.
In terms of like actual talent greatness, no. Well, in terms of anything, no.
No.
But it's a.
And then number 3 was always like Freebird or something like that. There's better rock songs than that. Damn it.
Well, I mean, it's the most popular ones.
Well, that's the problem. They always say
let's get back to this.
Yeah.
Justin Long is in this? He's still acting?
Yeah. He just did a segment. He directed a segment in the VHS Beyond, which wasn't too bad.
Why is there a demon that's been in the bottle?
Because you gotta have a demon.
Why does this trailer have the Michael Myers mask?
Because you gotta tell people about things that they actually like. If you're gonna make them watch a shitty movie the rest of the time. Did you like Halloween? Well, then you probably won't like this, but come watch it. This is so just. God bless us, everyone. Because the movies will not. Oh, and look at that. Pops up on my thing. Trump's down 3 points in Iowa. America wins. Whatever.
No, that's not true.
Hey. No, okay. All right. So let's do this real quick, because this will come out in 3 to 4 weeks. All right. Because I have episodes.
Are you sure about that?
I have an episode today. No, I'm not sure about that. But at the most, it'll come out in 3 to 4 weeks, right? Because I have episodes for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Coming out, all right.
Nice.
So this may be the weekend. The day after Black Friday might be the day this comes out. All right.
Cheers to capitalism.
Okay, so let's make our guesses right now.
Oh, who wins?
Who wins? Because 3 days before election, who wins?
If I had to bet,
A lot of people are.
They are now.
which shocks.
That's
which
a big
shocks
thing
me.
nowadays.
Wow. Yes.
That got big this year.
Yeah.
I am unconfidently betting that Trump wins.
Okay.
Strictly electoral college.
Sure. I mean, that's the only way that counts. I mean,
Well,
we
what
understand
blows-
American politics. Electoral college is the only way that counts. It doesn't
Well-
matter what the popular vote is.
What shocked me was I saw a poll from, I don't want to say reputable, but like a mainstream news source, and it said that it gave her only a slight edge in winning the popular vote. Which to me, I was like, if it's that close in the popular vote, which granted it was one poll, I didn't look into how they got that information. I don't know how accurate it was, but I was like, if it's even close in the popular vote, she's done.
Well, it's you have to look at it by the swing states, really.
You do, but
And
the
I
reality
think,
is, if it's close to there, like I doubt that those are the only ones that are going to go hard one way or the other. Like,
No,
like
I
Biden
do think
won by what, like 10 million votes, but won the swing states by around what 50,000.
Yeah.
Like crazy to think that he would have had 10 million more votes and not won.
Now you're sounding like a
Cuck?
election denier, but or cuck. Sure, whichever.
Wait,
whichever.
election denier.
I mean, whichever, whatever Rudy Giuliani is going by now. I don't know.
I mean, I think he's still trying to wipe off all that hair dye coming out of this.
So I'll tell you what I think, and it scares me, is I really do think Kamala is actually going to win the Electoral College.
Why does that scare you?
Because I know what Trump is going to do. She's not going to win decisively, right?
No.
It's not going to be a giant. It's one thing if Trump loses and Trump is demolished. I think that's a good thing because that doesn't give him a leg to stand on.
The thing is that could happen.
I don't think it's not going.
I'm not saying it will. I'm saying I honestly right now I could see either of them winning it close and either of them winning it by a landslide.
I don't think either of them are going to win by a landslide. I don't
wouldn't
see
bet
that.
on it. I wouldn't bet on it.
I'm not going to bet on it. No. I mean, we're recording it right now, so who knows? Well, hopefully we'll know by the time this is
if we don't,
unless it's 2000 all over again.
Then we'll do an update. We'll do an update video.
Wow. I'll call you on the phone and record it. Like, all right,
Can
who
you
do you think
imagine
now?
how bad it would be if we had a 2000 scenario
With Trump?
right?
Oh,
I mean, if it seemed
that
bad.
that was horrible. That was really bad then.
I wasn't even old enough to understand it, and I could feel the stress and the tension and all that.
No, I mean, could you just imagine Rosie O'Donnell coming out of the woodwork again for that shit? Oh, that's the thing that scares me the most, really.
Rosie O'Donnell, which is
Rosie O'Donnell coming out of the woodworks, screaming for Al Gore again. Ugh.
Why?
The end of the world.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not like polls. It's nothing like that. It's just a feeling.
I think that's all you can. The polls are, when you really look at the polls, they're too tight. I think it's got to be feeling.
Well, and the fact that they are too
Yeah.
tight, because I feel like wasn't Biden pretty comfortably ahead in the polls, relatively speaking?
I couldn't tell you. I really don't remember.
I feel like
All I remember is that Hillary was comfortably ahead.
Hillary was comfortably ahead.
Yeah, I think Biden was. I think it was pretty similar. I think Biden was pretty tight and pretty close.
Another advantage that Trump has is that with Biden, we were, one, dealing with the heck of a pandemic, and two, we were in the Trump presidency, so things that were happening were reflecting on him. It's been 4 years since then. People are having difficulties. Whether or not it's Biden's fault isn't relevant.
True.
He's in charge.
I think that's a fair analysis.
And she's the VP. Again, how much control does she have over that? I don't know. Probably not much. My understanding of the VP, at least as far as comedians are concerned, is that they don't do much of anything. Which she did obviously.
Well, and this is like one of Trump's main good points is her main job was supposed to be the border.
Yeah, and it's not as obviously the board is not near as bad as Fox News is telling us that it is.
No, it is. I think it's gotten out of control. I think the big thing for her and what they should have kept on pressing is that one interview she did where they asked her, it was like NBC or something like that, asked her, have you been to the border? Have you checked it out? She's like, well, we've been to the border, and no, but have you actually gone to the border? Well, no, we're going to Europe, so we haven't had a chance to go to the. Like, if they just replayed that and then replayed the statistics on the illegal immigration during that period, I think Trump would be doing a lot better than what he has been doing. Because it's gone out of control, and obviously all Kamala has to do is replay Trump telling everybody not to vote for the bill to take care of illegal immigration.
Yeah.
So that he would have something to run on.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, it's the shitty situation of all politics, and why I only vote third party. But yeah.
Well, it's the fact that they're both using it. They're both trying to keep problems around so they can run against them.
Oh, 100%.
Like it.
Oh yeah.
They want to have people like, various Republicans, Democrats in office who will stop bills so that they can be problems in the future. They want guys like John McCain who will vote down, who will put a thumbs down, so we can keep fighting, so that there can be an issue of healthcare, Medicare for all, and all that kind of stuff in the future.
One thing that really I wonder is, I think Democrats are going to be really upset whenever Donald Trump is out of politics, because they are
not initially, but
no,
eventually.
but in terms of the Democratic Party, they're making money hand over fist with donations right now because of Trump.
And that's part of the reason where I do wonder if he wins, because that would be very good for him.
Over the Democrats?
Oh, very good for him.
Oh yeah.
4 years of running against Trump.
They're definitely going to win the next time. Because
2026, yeah, they will.
Yeah, because I mean Trump is yeah, they're going to win 2026, and they'll probably win 2028 too.
They will, because that'll be interesting. Because if Trump loses, you can have a candidate who's anti-Trump in the Republican Party, who may mop the floor.
Well, only if it's a decisive loss for Trump.
Yeah.
If it's not a decisive loss for Trump, you get Trump 2.0 is going to take over the party. And I mean,
Matt Gaetz. Is that his name?
I don't know that he's charismatic enough. I mean, say what you will about Trump. I mean, Trump is a charismatic dude. I think you need that.
Well,
and I don't think Matt Gaetz has that.
Trump is Trump naturally.
Exactly.
Trump is who he is from all his years of TV, his years playing the media, all that stuff. Everyone else is trying to get that, and yet they almost always fail when they try to be Trump. Like Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're
Lauren Boebert.
Lauren Boebert, and she's flailing.
Yeah, is she up for election?
She if I'm
she had to, I knew she had switched districts.
Yes, which is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing.
And I think
I mean, it's really embarrassing giving somebody a hand job in Beetlejuice the musical, but it's also really embarrassing to switch districts. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the worst thing about that is that it was a Beetlejuice the musical.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
I mean, at least
giving somebody a hand job, and
at least Pee Wee Herman was in the right theater.
He was in freaking porno. He was giving himself a hand job too, so he wasn't giving somebody else.
I'm talking about just the indecent exposure all around. Yeah, they frustrate me so much. People like that, because it's the kind of thing where it's like they could all be dead serious, or they could all be 100% grifting, and I don't know which one it is, because it can only be one of those two things. It
scares me that. So I feel like Matt Gaetz is a grifter. It scares me that Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene are true believers.
I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is the one who I most likely, who I think is most likely to be the true believer.
I could see that. Lauren Boebert, the grifter. Because didn't she call out Lauren Boebert for being a grifter?
She may have. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, Boebert could be a grifter. Well, and if you watch these people when they're...
And what I find really funny is I wonder if any, like, really... And I'm not saying because, like, we're, like, right wings or something like that, but are left wingers talking about, like, AOC like she's a grifter? Like, everybody's pretty confident that AOC is a true believer, and she's
relatively so. And
she's honest about what she does.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, she believes what she says. I mean,
regardless of what you think about her, whatever, but
I got no
or her opinion, or her stances, I should say.
She not just disagree on some things, I'm sure, but I got no. I mean,
I'm sure her and I disagree on a lot of things.
I like the fact that she's honest.
Yeah,
honest and not crazy.
That's what I find interesting. Like, who else is it? Who's the It's part of her same posse. Is it
Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, like she feels honest.
She's genuine.
Yeah,
I respect
that. I could disagree. Like, I don't feel that way about. Like, there's certain Republicans that I feel like, okay, like, I feel like you're honest and you're like, I used to feel that way about J.D. Vance before he became the nominee.
Well, the problem,
but remember, there are certain Republicans that I still feel that way about, but like I don't feel that way about Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert.
No, I don't think they're real at all.
But I do feel like politically, those are the opposite extremes that are in Congress.
I do think Marjorie is real. I don't think she's...
I think she lost me on the Jewish space lasers.
I think she's out of her mind.
Yeah.
Like, whereas someone like AOC or Ellen Omar, like, I have disagreements with them on things, but it's like, I don't think they're out of their mind. I see where they're coming from. I can see how they came to their perspective.
Yeah, they don't feel terminally online. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene feels terminally online.
Well, I think
like, all she does is she gets her information from X.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, she doesn't have any other news source, nothing. If somebody just tweets something and it fits her worldview...
It's real.
It's real.
And they don't realize...
I think that's what scares me about her.
What she and a lot of people like that on Twitter don't realize is Twitter is not that big. It never was, and now it certainly is. It never was, though.
Well, no.
Compared to Facebook, it was nothing.
Well, what's funny is I think people on the left used to think it was everything, and now that it's become an echo chamber, pretty much consistently for the right, it's becoming very clear that it's not everything at all.
It never was. And
it never was.
Now they believe that, but at the same time, the right felt what the left feel like now.
Oh, 100%.
So it's just reversed. But yeah, I think the
echo chambers are dangerous, people. That's all we're saying.
The loudest voices on the right are terminally online, and it becomes a problem because they don't realize that a lot of the things they're bringing up with, like, to try to get voters, most voters have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
lower my grocery bill,
please.
Make the infrastructure where I'm living better,
please.
Give my kids a good education.
You mean your cats?
Yes, my cats.
Good.
My cats need a good education. My cats need to go to college. Damn it.
Okay, let's keep our expectations reasonable.
Cat college? Why is that unreasonable?
Cat technical school, maybe.
Okay, cat technical school. Sure. Okay, my cats can be
CTS.
Be an LPN. All right, maybe not an RN.
Shooting for the stars now.
All right. Are we supposed to be talking about fucking movies? Okay. I'm sorry, I got you off the topic. So you're Trump. I'm Kamala. That's interesting.
In terms of who we think is going to win.
Correct.
Context, please.
Because I'm definitely not voting for either.
Hey, we agree on that. Cheers.
Yay. Hey, everybody, there's a lot of other people down the ticket, and there's a lot of ballot measures down the ticket. It's not just R or D. You can actually do some research and vote. Vote intelligently.
Libertarian,
please.
There's Green, there's Constitution.
There's
Workers.
Brainworms, if you want to vote for RFK. I think he's still on the ballot. In
I
South
think-
Carolina, at least.
I think he's off in Michigan.
He's off in a couple places, but he's still on the ballot in South Carolina.
A couple of the ones that matter.
Right.
Yeah, let me know if you see him, because I did not see him on the ballot.
When I pulled up the a couple weeks ago, I pulled up the you can go on to there's like a South Carolina website where you can go on and see, like, based on your zip code and your address, you can see what's going to be on my ballot. You can see everything that's going to be on your ballot.
Gotcha.
And he was on the ballot.
I guess I just missed him. That's weird.
Stop lying. You didn't vote ahead of time. Fraud. You let your wife write in or something.
You know.
Voter fraud right here, guys.
You know what? Maybe
There's one voter fraud. That means it's all fraud.
It's all
fraud. Kamala wants South Carolina. It's going to be bullshit.
Are you sure? And you're sure that's not an alcoholic?
Oh, I just ate an alcoholic. That was like number what? We already went over this. Number 7 for me today, so I don't know.
I think you're going backwards.
I am going backwards.
But
if you drink enough of these, there is alcohol in them. So.
I mean,
We'll see how many it takes.
Kombucha's the same way.
It actually has exactly the same amount of alcohol as kombucha.
That's hilarious because I love
Yeah.
kombucha. I genuinely love kombucha.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good beer to drink if you're just like, I want that flavor of beer, but I don't want actually like 35 calories.
If
each
they
or something
made
like
one
that.
that was, if they made a Sam Adams version of that, I'd be all over it.
So they make a Pilsner, they make the hazy IPA, I think that's what this one is. And then they make a Mexican, like cerveza.
Like a Corona style? Or?
Right, exactly.
No,
type beer.
No, thank you.
I don't know that they make any dark beers. Guinness does have a non-alcoholic version now that they have. I've seen that at Walmart.
I got a friend. I was never a big fan,
Okay.
but I got a couple of friends who would like that.
A good oyster stout without the alcohol.
My dad's more of the IPA.
It depends. I can't.
He loves Sierra Nevada.
I can't. I've drank so many different types of beers today. I don't even know. I don't know. I just like beer, man. As long as it's not like fruity shit, I'm pretty good.
You wouldn't drink Angry Orchard?
It's not that I wouldn't drink it. It's not a preference. I'm not going to drink a Kolsch or a is that what it's called? Or a or Gauche or any of those types of beers.
I never had a Gauche.
Anything. If it's a beer that's sweet, I'm not interested. If it's a cider is going to be different because if I'm drinking a cider.
You know what you're getting.
Exactly, 100%. It's like drinking wine, right? I know what I'm getting, or even like an alcoholic drink. It's okay if it's a little sweet.
Well, I mean,
Let's flip things over.
only so many people can drink liquor straight.
I mean, I can, depending.
I never really tried, but just given how I always reacted to just the smell.
Oh, well, you gotta get the right ones, Like, you can't.
Well, and for me, when I did drink, it was like I wanted to get actual flavor.
Oh.
There was never a point where I drank for the feeling.
Oh, see, that's a big difference.
No, yeah, I mean, it's obviously that's a big difference.
No, I mean, like, I drink this for the flavor, obviously, sometimes, but...
Right.
Oh, no, I love the way it makes me feel. I feel happy.
It's right in front of me.
What?
I couldn't find my phone.
Oh.
Right there in front of me.
My phone's right there. Okay. All right, so let's...
Space!
Space.
Kamal's gonna take us to space.